All right. Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Let's Talk Fabulous show. Today is St. Patrick's Day. I've got my green on. I have as much green on as I can possibly have. Well, not my earrings, but I hope you're having a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. And today we are talking about shining your light. I absolutely love this topic. It was 3 years ago today that a Tamara Hunter production show allowed me to announce the launch of the Let Your Light Shine movement, which is something that I've been very excited and passionate about. And today we have amazing panelists who are going to share with us how they're shining their light and reminding you that you always have permission to shine your beautiful light too. Let's take a few moments to hear from our digital sidekick, Renee, and then we'll meet today's guests.
Hello, everyone. My name is Renee Reich. Welcome to today's fabulous show. Today's guest host is Kim O'Neill, and Kim will be joined by some expert panelists speaking on the topic of shining your light. What does that mean? And does everyone's light shine the same? Well, stay tuned and you'll find out. So grab your pens and papers and get ready to take some copious notes, because there's always some great information to be shared. So thank you so much for joining us. And once again, have a fabulous show. Take care, everybody.
Woo! All right. Welcome, everybody. So good to have you here. Well, we are talking today about shining your light. And I already told all of today's panelists, I see the ways that they shine their light and I love it. It's so, it lights me up when I see other people shining their light in their unique, authentic ways. But before we get into today's conversation, let's just do a quick little go around. And I want each of you to go ahead and just, share a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, and where are you located in the world. And I'll start with Kristie. I love when it points the right direction. Let's start with Kristie and go around.
Hello, my name is Kristie McKinley. I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm a Reiki practitioner, and my focus is on cycle breaking for collective liberation.
And where are you located, Kristie?
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Love it. Okay, sorry if I missed that. Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
And Ivana, tell us about you and where you are.
So my name is Ivana. I'm from Croatia. I'm currently in Europe. So it's 8 p.m. here. So I would say that my main field is emotional and mental health. I hope that I can share more about it.
Ivana, I see you shining your light on LinkedIn. She's amazing in the professional sector, sharing her thoughts about emotional and mental health, like she said, and from Croatia. So thank you for being here. I know it's late. Charla, let's move on down to you. Tell us about you, where you are.
Hi, I'm in Mexico right now, but I usually live in Portland, Oregon. And for the last 20 years, I've been a sex and intimacy coach from Body Joy. And I get to talk about those things that are sometimes hard to talk about.
And you do such an amazing job. I love it. So thank you. I'm so glad you're here. And Lute, tell us about you and where you are.
Yes, right now my name is Lute Bryon Smith. Real name, of course, is Bryon Smith. Lute is my social media name. I'm in Corte Madera, California, presently. And I'm a motivational speaker and a life coach and what I like to call self-empowerment music artist and a podcast host, the host of the Enlightened Empowered Evolved podcast as well. So, yes.
Yes, you are. Okay, Lute. So I call you Lute. Should we call you Bryon?
No, Lute is fine. I'm just transparent about it,
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay. I love it. Okay, so, the standard question that always comes up for me, I don't really want to start with it, but it's the whole, what does let your light shine mean to you? So I'm actually not going to go there, but just know I'm probably going to ask that at some point. I want to ask something different. I want to ask first, what are the ways that each of you see yourself shining your light? And I'm just going to put this out there right now. Please don't be shy. Please don't hold back, because I'll just preface right now. I believe every single person has light, has the ability to shine brighter or dim their light. We can do that energetically. And every light is beautiful. There's no light that is better than another, that is, any of that, none of that whatsoever. So it's all about shining, being, and reminding others that they have permission to shine too. So I'm just going to say that right there. And I hope all of you will feel free to share as much as you feel comfortable sharing. So with that, my question again is, how do you see yourself shining? What about what you do, who you are, do you feel is you shining?
Well, it's been so much fun to know you for 3 years and for this shining your light. I've been shining my light for like 75 years now. And down in Mexico, they call us jubilada or retired. And I want to say it's a great time of year and great time to be out of the rainy Northwest. And I'm so glad I have the freedom to do that. And though I travel alone, I've been Tinder dating. So I get to meet and have language exchanges in a coffee shop with all the native people. And I think, Kim, the most way I'm shining my light is the writing and performing a one-woman show now called Naked at My Age, about my work in sexuality, how surprising it was for me, and how actually empowering it is to get to meet people on that erotic edge where we sometimes have felt, difficult to express.
Right. Yeah.
For the last 20 years, I've got to be that kind of coach. And now from the stage to share the story of wholesome sexuality and how to enjoy it more when you share it.
Charla, I absolutely love that, because talking about sexuality, that can be a very challenging thing. And not everyone has had positive experiences either. So the work that you do helps unleash people, help them heal, help them find greater freedom, self-acceptance with their body. And yes, you're doing it through sex and all of that, and you're destigmatizing it. That's what I freaking love, because this speaks to all of us in various ways. So thank you for your shine. I
think that destigmatizing is like, well, I'm a grandma now, okay? So I get to talk about these things. And sometimes we think, oh my gosh, I got to get it right away. But we really have some time.
Okay, I just love that. Thank you for sharing that. She's a grandma right now talking about sex. Here we go. Thank you, Charla. I love it. Okay, before I hear from the other panelists, I want to make sure that we're talking to you too. So let us know in the chat, how do you see yourself shining? What comes when you think about shining your light? Let us know down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you on that as well. And who would like to answer next on how you see yourself shining your light?
I think for me recently, I've been thinking about being like a little bit more vulnerable. And like when you asked me about doing the little small video and everything like that, I was just trying to think, where am I right now in relation to what else I am seeing in the world in terms of who I am as a practitioner and just in the work that I do. And it's just like, taking those pauses to really think about the stuff that's kind of difficult in the moment. You just have to step away and just kind of think about. And I've just been, oh wow, when I have like something that's triggering, I really am like being kind to myself when I pause to think about that new thing that is like, why is this triggering me? What's the big deal? What's the point? And then it becomes a teaching moment when I allow it to be, and when I'm calm with myself. And then it just seems like it's an ever-present, real-time, energetic feedback loop to how you can be your own best transformation, even in the face of realizing, oh, I am quite possibly my biggest problem to shining my own light. Okay, so what does that mean? And, being kind to yourself, and then just realizing, okay, what do I want to do? How do I want to feel happy? How do I want to best share my gifts in the best possible way? And it's a little frustrating. It's like, oh crap, I still keep doing this. Yes, you still get to keep doing this because you're in this vessel, which is your teacher. So I am in awe and fascinated at the same time. And it's just like, okay, well, I still get to like learn and understand and just interact with others. Like, yes, I'm feeling vulnerable enough to share this too. And so I've been really inspired by a lot of people really all my life, but like the last couple of years, we've been sitting in the face of the pandemic and all the things that have been going on in the world. You know, more recently, it's just like, okay, how can I be a good steward of the earth? How can I share my gifts best in the face of being in this less than stellar sometimes vessel that's, you know, constantly teaching us. So I was trying to think of like something really compact because I want to hear everyone else, everyone else thoughts. But I just kind of where I am sitting right now, just trying to be present and aware and grateful at the same time.
Kristie, it was awesome. And you're right. Like it does circle back into itself, but it absolutely speaks to what you do as a Reiki master. And I know you have a strong focus on self-care. You help people heal and be able to align more with who they are. And that comes through, of course, your own self-care and talking about it and having greater flow there. So you being good with yourself and able to be vulnerable and speak to all these things that you're doing for yourself is absolutely allowing you to shine brighter, which circles back into the people you serve. So I love it.
Exactly. And then they like everyone has the ability to heal, like everyone. It's just your willingness to own it. And you're with your gifts and all the arts that come to you and that speak to you and like make you feel heart called. Like whatever you're doing is healing. It doesn't have to be energy worker or therapist or even, doctors even. It's just giving people permission to just.
I had a teacher one time that told me when I'm seeing a client, I'm one-on-one with them, we're either both healing or no one is.
Ooh.
So I think you brought that up so well, Kristie.
Oh, that is so good. That is so good. Okay. Lute, how about you? I'm going to throw you in the mush pot and see if I can grab you. There we go.
I was waiting for all the beautiful ladies to go first. But if you want me to go, I will. But I'm gonna say something along the lines of what Kristie said. I know the question is, how do we shine our light? And I have to start off by saying, just by being my authentic self and showing, being an example, the contrast of how I'm evolving and growing, from one point to the next and just elevating and reaching towards my highest self. But other than that, just tapping into, my gifts as well, which is, music. I used to do regular, I would call secular music, but now I create self-empowerment music, which is hip hop music that has empowering lyrics. So I shine my light through that way, and also just engaging in amazing dialogues with people from around the world, focused on helping themselves in some way and helping other people, spiritually based, but it can include, so much when you talk about helping people. It could be mentally, physically, spiritually. So I focus around that on the Enlightened Empowered Evolved podcast that I've been inspired to create. But yeah, I shine my light that way, and many other people shine their lights on me, and just being able to go around and speak with people through my own experiences and through my own extensive studies and what resonates with me. I don't claim to have the right answers for everyone, but hopefully I can open up, thought and promote people to find their own answers. So I pride myself in doing that. So
I love it, Lou. And I want to go back to something you said at the very beginning. You said you simply shine your light by being your authentic self. And we're going to give it one of these. Write that down, folks.
I like that. Because I think, and I'll just say this, I won't make it too extensive, but especially if you're a person that sort of not preaches, but talks about growth, as I do, what better way than to be that example? So what I'm also saying is that I'm okay with people watching me grow and knowing where I've been, knowing where I've come from to where I am now, because it all contributes to who I'm becoming, who I am today and who I'm becoming. So I think just the example of just my authentic self is a great way, and for everybody to shine their light. You know, there's no embarrassment of anything. There's moments I've had in life that I'm not very proud of,
Yeah.
and lots of adversity. But I think that all contributes to our growth. It all contributes to making us extraordinary individuals.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that, Lute. And we're going to get to hear a little bit of Lute's music a little further into the show. I'm excited about that because he's got some fun beats to keep that empowerment vibe going. But Ivana, let's hear from you. How do you see yourself shining? I'm going to put you in the mush pot. Let's get Ivana there. Ivana.
Yeah, so I loved everything everybody else said. Yeah, so it was nice to just sit back and listen. And I agree with Lute what he said about being your authentic self. And I think it goes in different environments. So I have known him from Kristie's program in US. So it goes back to like 10 years, maybe a little less. But then being last year in China and now being back to Europe. So I have been in China for almost 6 years. So being in different environments and shining your light really taught me a lot, about myself also. And as Kristie also said, being in pandemic, and all things that go with that. And I think that we the most shine our light when we are met with challenges, unfortunately, but we shine the brightest when it's the dark outside. So yeah, so and maybe I would also add that for me, who taught me maybe the most is my cat. So I have a little cat behind me. So if you see her on the screen at one point, sorry if she will jump here. But yeah, I have 3 cats now. But I just recently started having cats. So I got my first cat in Shanghai, and she really helped me through pandemic and everything. And then I got the second one for her to have a friend, and now we are on third one. So who knows? But yeah, so I really learned a lot from her. I think it's a blessing. A pet.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Ivana. And I agree, right? When things are the darkest, that's when we can see the light around us even more. And I'll go back to what I mentioned earlier about I see you shining big time on LinkedIn. She's on LinkedIn and she shares her she helps people with their mental and emotional health, but I feel like you're sharing a lot of your authenticity, just yourself and your journey, your human journey, in a way that is, I'm going to say palatable for the LinkedIn platform. And you're reaching a lot of people. I see that. And is there anything you want to say about that, about your messaging on LinkedIn and in the professional world, how you are shining there?
Yeah, so I have a lot of experience with corporate, and so I think that, as we all know, like business world can be a lot kind of hard and harsh. So adding little gentleness to it, that's my like kind of goal on LinkedIn, and allowing by allowing myself to express some kind of support and emotions, and speaking about mental health, I think I help a little bit with it to make it kind of inclusive environment for others. So that's one of my goals.
I think you're helping to normalize talking about yourself and your emotions and that kind of thing in the professional sector. And I love that. So you're breaking a barrier with that. So thank you for what you're doing there. Okay. I love it. As you can see, panelists are in different fields. Well, in a way, I actually see it all related. It's all related to me, but doing it their own unique way. And I love it. Let's take a quick look at the chat. I know we've got a lot of comments here. We have Tamara with us today. Tamara Hunter saying, my intention is to shine my light daily. I believe that by showing up and sharing humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love. And I love that phrase. That's one of her catchphrases. Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love can help with healing through connections and raising the frequency of the world. Absolutely. And that's what our panelists are also, that's what this whole conversation is about connection to self and then expanding that outward, right? And connecting with others. What kind of response have each of you had in terms of, no, let's go back. I want to go back for a second. Tell me about your personal experience of maybe a time in your life when you felt like you didn't shine as much, and then you had to make a decision or do something different to be more of your authentic self and allow yourself to shine. Do any of you have something you can speak to in regards to that when you didn't, and you had to make a some sort of transition to allow yourself to shine more?
I know that I had to get divorced, and that was really hard at about age 50. The kid was grown and gone away, and I had a good relationship in some ways, but that's when I actually did make the break and moved across the country to another place and found the work in sexuality, in my mid 50s, to totally change a career from teaching the violin and writing for the newspaper to help teaching classes and workshops with sexuality. But it didn't come easy. I mean, there was that crunch, and I had dark days, and I didn't want to get out of bed, and all I could think about is, well, at least maybe I'll go someplace and have a coffee. And that was the biggest deal. So I had to kind of power through that and find myself anew. And we have to do that at all different times of our lives.
Thank you for sharing that, because sometimes it takes a big decision to be able to have that shift in ourselves and our experience, how we're living. Thank you for sharing that. That's a huge one, Charla. Absolutely. Who else would like to share something that you had to shift from where you were to allow yourself to shine more? I'm not calling on people. Yeah, Lute.
No.
Oh, I'm throwing you in anyway.
Okay, only reason why I wasn't going to wait for all the ladies to go first this time is because mine is similar to what's her name that just spoke?
Charla.
Yeah, you're small right now, so I can't read your name. So Charla, I want to piggyback on yours a little bit, because the exact same thing happened in my circumstance, which caused me to look more inward, and that was going through a divorce as well, and in having strained relationships with two of my children. It at that point, I had an opportunity to either continue to blame, the other person, to blame my childhood, to blame whatever, and all of that might have been true, but at the same time, it brought me to a point where I had to look inward and figure out, what did I contribute, or what am I contributing to these toxic circumstances and things and situations that are not favorable. So that caused me to really look within and connect with information and people, and that really spoke to me, and just really look at myself and self-reflect. And I think within doing that, going through something that was considered at that point, that I considered in my perspective as hard and dark, really helped me and assisted me in elevating and shining my light.
Lute, I just want to say thank you so much for adding that to today's conversation. What I hear is you chose to be courageous, go within, lower the ego, and allow yourself to really look at more deeply, what can I do too? How am I part of this, right? And we're going to give that some love. That was awesome. That was awesome. Okay, so I still would love to hear from Kristie and Ivana, but we're going to take a quick moment to you know what? I think this is excellent time. I was thinking I would say this for the end, but we're going to go ahead and hear a little bit of Luke's music, and because it's empowering and awesome. I want to encourage you to, if you want to shut your eyes to catch the lyrics, just do what you can to catch the lyrics, because these are awesome lyrics. And if you don't, there's lots of awesome phrases on the screen as well. Here we go. We'll be right back.
Yes. Is that Florence Shin telling me my thoughts is where life begins? Or could it be Earl Nightingale telling me to let my mindset sail? Ralph Emerson, I'm blessed to know self-trust will lead to success. Richard Bach, Jay-Z, believe you're the greatest like Muhammad Ali. Wayne Dyer, Abraham Hicks, hold the vision in your mind to be sure that it sticks. You're created to be a creator. God gave you this power so your life could be greater. The universe always conspires to bring abundance and fulfill your desires. What you sow, so shall you reap. So be careful what you do and the thoughts that you keep. Everything you ever wanted, it's all inside of you. Just open up and let it out, let it out, let it out. Open up and let it out, let it out, let it out. The law of attraction, thoughts are things, whether positive or negative, you will bring circumstances, situations, events without limitations. Your vibration contains energy to bring forth success, prosperity, longevity. You deserve it. Order with your thoughts and let the universe serve it. Just relax.
Thank you for that, Lou. Lou, do you want to say a few words about that song before we move on?
Yes, I made it years ago, and yes, those people that I mentioned, yeah, I still currently follow them. Like Ralph Waldo Emerson, that's my favorite philosopher. His book entitled Self-Reliance is one of my go-to books.
And what was the name of that song again? I think, is it You Are Everything?
You Are Everything. So I just put a little bit of everybody. Like if you look at the people that I put in there, none of them were, I just mixed in what people that stood out to me, like Muhammad Ali, Ralph Emerson, and Earl Nightingale, and I even said Jay-Z, just people that have influenced me in some way, that elevated me. What I've looked at them and said, I would like a piece of whatever they're doing to be part of me, So yeah.
Well, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. I want to take a moment to highlight another audience comment. We have Carolyn Brown with us saying, I am shining my light as Senior Ambassador for Chemo Buddies for Life chat host. And she is an artist and author. Those are her gifts. And she's learning new gifts within herself. And she is with us every Sunday, helping us out behind the scenes as well. And so we want to say thank you, Carolyn, for all that you do. And of course, for sharing this beautiful comment too. I love it. We all shine in our own unique ways. And I find that it simply comes down to us recognizing ourselves first and allowing ourselves to be that. And then it can be seen by others, but it's not about that. It's about you, I think, you being you and feeling free in that. Okay, I'm gonna go to Kristie or Ivana. Who would like to share something of where you were and what you had to shift to allow yourself to shine brighter?
I first had to shift away from seeking external validation. That was like my first thing, that I had to acknowledge, one, that it was happening, and then I accepted I was allowing it to happen. And then when I started to doing the inner work of realizing of what did and didn't sit well with me, then as I began to kind of develop who I was on the inside, it made it easier to recognize, okay, I am for this because this lights me up. This helps me feel good. I see that it's helping the earth and, others. And then the other things that aren't, I'm trying to lower my resistance as much as possible as I learn from them, but still kind of, show myself grace when I'm being less than kind, whether to myself or others, but just yeah, just being I guess just this flood of gratitude in all of this, even if when it's not pleasant, it's like your awareness is there, and at least you have the awareness, which most people don't even allow that, and just 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 the gratitude of just being just capable of change at any second of the day. You're not submitted in this moment, and for that I'm grateful, because I know I'm constantly evolving and changing and growing, and I just there's not enough human words of gratitude in that.
Kristie, I hear you talking about setting yourself free from looking for that external thing to change, and kind of going back to what Lute was talking about too, right? Going within, and where do we change here first? And that's the longer I live, the more and more I see how similar we all are. Like, we all go through all of these things practically, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I love it. Okay, Kristie, I want to share your video because, of course, speaks to what Kristie does, and is a beautiful moment for all those who would like to center themselves and do that. So here we go. We'll be right back.
One of the best ways that I've found to help shining my light is taking a break, detaching, rest. It helps me maintain my emotional, energetic, and spiritual batteries. It makes it easier for when I am working through a problem. A solution comes to me easier than if I was not taking a break and still struggling through. I've done a much better job of listening to my body and listening to my mind because I've allowed myself to take breaks.
Would you like to say anything more about that, Kristie?
Getting to that point in my life where I felt comfortable enough to record that video speaks to learning how to unlearn to be constantly in survival mode, unlearning not trusting myself, unlearning not seeing the beauty of my specific creative style. And I know for a lot of artists, that's a thing. And just being confident in who I am and what I do and how I show up. Even today, I was excited, but I was still kind of nervous because, lots of folks don't know who I am. So you want to make that good impression. And I'm just like, I'm trying to still show my best self, but show like all of my realness too. And so just sometimes you have to just step away completely and get into nature where there are no words to argue or justify or do the thing. You're just accepting you're just being present in the moment of just calming your nervous system and finding solutions sometimes when you're trying to like argue with yourself or debate. It just sometimes just stepping completely away from all of the words. Yeah. And just getting back to nature. And I don't know if you noticed in the background, those are like frogs, like a whole swamp of frogs in like 7,500 feet away. And it's just being in that space. And there's a creek like maybe 20 feet over to the right. And I was there just for like not very long, but it helped me just feel just kind of connected and not have to feel like I have to do something. Just like you're saying, just show up and be. Just be present. So just taking a break and detaching is profound. It's profound. Good stuff.
Okay, before I tend to chime in a lot, I'm so sorry. I want to ask our panelists, what do any of you have to say about what Kristie was just saying?
I loved it, Kristie, when you said that you have the ability at any moment to change it. Sometimes, and I don't know why, but I wake up and I have a dread about the day, like I'm afraid something, and kind of like I'm not okay. And I think, God, nobody else in the world is even thinking of me right now. And here I am, supposedly my own best friend, and not there. I have learned that I can just decide, hey, no. The other thing, today, wow, what's going to happen? I'm happy. I'm glad I'm me. I'm waking up today. Great. And the other thing that I don't know why I thought of this when you were saying, I spent 20 years plus in a marriage trying to change him, trying to make him into what, knowing that my way was pretty darn good, right? I don't do that anymore with people. I meet people, and I go, what piece of them can I just encompass and I don't have to pick up the dirty socks or wake up every morning or whatever. I can lead my life the way I want. And I can actually begin to enjoy people more because I'm not trying to change them. Yeah.
And Charlotte, you're reclaiming your power, which allows you, by not trying to change someone else, you're reclaiming your power, owning your light and energy, which allows you to shine more and inadvertently allows that person to shine more too. And who knows, maybe they'll change at that point. And it's not about them changing either, but it has that whole reciprocal effect, kind of like what Kristie was talking about earlier. It's all connected. It's all looped. And yeah, I love all that.
It gives you more energy for you to do.
Yeah.
To do for you instead of concentrating on trying to do that thing for somebody else.
Yeah. Okay, Ivana, I'd love to hear from you. How about you? What's something that you felt like, you recognized about whatever was going on in your world and you had to shift that so that you could allow yourself to shine more, be more of who you are?
Yeah, first I would just like to add a comment to what Kristie was saying. I think it's great topic, to make a break, to make a pause, because I think also in corporate, we believe that we need to always work, 8 hours a day, nonstop, just little break. But I don't think it works as well, and we are starting to find out that taking breaks actually means that we are more efficient and so on. So I think that's for all aspects of our lives. So maybe in corporate, I had a lot of transitions, and one is transitioning to Shanghai. So actually, at that point, I was very unsatisfied at my job, and I didn't know what to do. So everybody thought it was insane that we were getting from China, from Shanghai all the time, this job as, internally in the company. And I thought, well, why not apply, if you want to change? And I wanted some big change. So what others thought is impossible, and, the lyrics of Lut's songs, right? Like AHIX, Kim, all, we were in the same program for law of attraction. So, like creating your life the way you want it, I think, and then this happened, and also going from Shanghai, now I'm in my hometown. I actually just lived here as a baby, so I never lived here because of the war. So coming back here in this new environment again and creating something else, and all the time moving and feeling at home now here actually for the first time. It's a great feeling. So I think that these transitions help you to find yourself and see where you want to be in each point in your life.
I love that, Ivana, talking about a professional shifting through your work. And I mean, you have all these people around you not believing in you. What does that require of yourself? I mean, was there a certain, you were talking about the mindset and all of that, but was there a certain affirmation or aspect of your mindset that you felt you had to shift in order to believe in yourself and make that career change?
Yeah, for sure. Like you deserving it, you being good enough for all that you want to achieve.
And what was the difference you felt when you actually made that transition and you saw the improvement?
You mean when I already were in Shanghai, or
whenever you got to the new job, what was there anything that you were just like so grateful for that it had taken place? Or
yeah, I think that at that point you see that everything that happened so far was there for a reason, and you can actually see why it needed to happen for you to learn something before you got to the point where you are now. I know it sounds pretty simple, but sometimes it's hard to see. Some points in your life don't make much sense, but later, when you look at it from a distance, you may see it better. So that's what been happening for me.
Thank you for sharing that, Ivana. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to take a quick moment to share another quick little video clip. Let me find it here. Something just simply to lighten the mood, and then we'll continue on with the show. Yeah, that was created by the wonderful Queen Barbara Beckley. Thank you for that Irish joke. Yeah, I just love that. I'd never seen the word Irish used in that way before, so that was great. Okay, let's take a moment to hear a little bit more from one of our panelists and part of what they do. We're going to hear about Charla. And Charla, tell everyone again, what is your title? You're an intimacy coach.
Right. I found sexuality work in my mid 50s. And I realized all the books I was reading were about real life nude girls or the new age sexual healers and whatever. And I needed a job, freshly divorced, new city. I actually answered an ad to be an escort. I had no idea there was any other way to do it. And it didn't take me long to find out, learn and meet some sexual healers and get some education, and just dove deep with it to offer people erotic massage classes, how to touch, how to communicate honestly, authentically, and could offer that kind of aspect of our personal development that can be off limits. And I love my classes because individually is one thing behind closed doors, but classes, you just realize your humanity and how much we do have in common for our yearnings and our longings sexually, and our need to be more expressive and more honest, and to take more time, and to give that aspect of our lives the same nurturing and presence that we, if you want to learn something, what do? You get some teachers, you read some books, you take a class, you listen to some podcasts, you read blogs or whatever. And so I became kind of that educator in Austin, Texas.
Charla, let me go ahead and share a video clip and then you can continue. Okay, one moment.
It really didn't happen until I was about 50. So there's a lot of hope because, you're just kind of practicing in your 30s and 40s, and we all know you don't know much in your 20s, okay? So at 50, I just really began to study sexuality, have a PhD in sexuality, but more than that, I started to experiment and to play and found workshops and books and partners that I could really trust and that I felt I could express myself with. And it's like whatever you want to learn, you need to study it. Like you want to be a good cook, you want to play tennis, you want to have your body feel good and to share it in ways that just take you to that other place. You need to give it some attention and give it some time and come together with other people who want to learn the same thing in very safe and respectful ways.
I love that, Charla. Nobody knows what they're doing in their 20s.
Really, I thought sex was all about the other person for a long time, trying to guess him, put on my mind reader glasses, which never seemed to work very well. And then, of course, when he didn't get it right, you can resent him, right? Or your partner. That's a recipe for disaster.
Charla, talk to us about how you allowed yourself to feel free to shine in this way, because anybody shining, there's I'm just going to put it out there. There can be judgment on that person, right? But then if you're sharing something that has a lot of stigma around it, there could be even more judgment, right? And so talk to us about was there a level of that you had to break through, that fear of judgment, being any of that?
Yeah. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. I almost left the kitchen many times. I have 4 sisters, okay? A couple of them don't talk to me, right? I have a son, he's 40, and he likes his pioneering mom, but he hasn't come to see my play naked at my age yet. It's a difficult area to be in, but I kind of like what I learned from some burlesque dancers. They know that they are just giving permission to attach to that part of life and to do that enjoyment. So I just look at myself. I'm so often just giving people permission to accept themselves in their body and to go for more pleasure.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else want to speak to that judgment piece about maybe feeling judged as you shone your light a little more in the world? And what did you do to move through that, move past that? Anybody have anything they'd like to share?
When I found myself judging, it took a really long time, and a couple of people pointedly saying, when you're judging others, you're judging yourself. And then I was just like, oh. And then all the stuff that came up around that. And then as time went on, it was just like, okay, I judged less, and then I leaned in way more into my compassion, self-compassion, compassion for the other person. And then realizing I don't know their whole life. Why am I being judgy? I'm learning self-judgment, learning discernment, and just loops of grace. You're judging. What are you judging about yourself in this situation? If something's coming up immediately, is it something that is just like, oh, okay, thank you for the awareness, and then or is it just something that's a little bit more profound? Some things I can resolve myself more or less, and then other things that I talk about in therapy. It's just because it's just like I'm trying to do the best that I can do, but I know after a while, if the theme is coming up and you're just like hitting a wall, that's when it's good to like reach out to a professional just to help you continue to move forward. So.
Kristie, you said so many awesome nuggets in that. The one that I was thinking before you even said it was if you're judging someone else, that means you're also judging yourself. Okay, we're giving it this.
Well, I just like to thank the trillions of people who said that before it finally clicked in my head. So thank you to everyone who's ever said that. I'm like, la, la, la. I finally got it.
And piggybacking on that, it's kind of like what you say about other people, you're saying about yourself. Yeah. So all at once, everybody else was so wonderful and beautiful and had great qualities. And because if you say that about others, as the reflection of you.
And that's coming back to that hard pill to swallow. Like when Lute was talking about having to look within and like ask those hard questions. But it's like so much of this conversation of shining your light is about setting yourself free, is freedom. And we can attain that through asking ourselves those hard questions. I love it. I want to just invite everyone right now, everyone with us, the panelists and everyone watching today, like just take a moment to take that deep breath, release whatever tension. If anything's showing up for you right now, just feel that and allow yourself to release it. Set yourself free because you absolutely deserve to shine and be free from any self-judgment, any preconceived notions about what you think you're supposed to do to shine, how it's supposed to look. I'll speak from my own personal journey. I was really surprised as I started to put myself out there more, the fear that started to show up. And when I realized, oh my goodness, this fear isn't just going away. And I was using my tools, but like there was like a lot. And I'm like, okay, but I can't wait forever either, right? So I can't just wait till the right moment. I've got to feel the fear and do it anyway. And we want to release as much fear as we can, but at some point we can't, you do it imperfect. It's perfectly imperfect. It's because it's not about being perfect, right? So that's part of the judgment. That's all of it. So, the more you do it, you release that judgment and it gets easier and easier. It's like this dance you have with yourself. Anybody want to speak to any of that?
You're also attracting people that see you like, oh, they're comfortable doing that in public. Then they're probably someone I could connect with or feel comfortable connecting with. that too. I realized that because I thought when I made all these changes in my life that I would like it tapped into that, abandonment kind of, rejection kind of part. And I was like, no, it just made space for the folks that could handle that, and just like, and then like, oh, okay, I do that too, just in quiet and not, personally to myself. And so that's helped a great deal. That's helped. I feel like that's helped a lot because you're never alone, obviously, but it's just nice to see like, oh, I'm not alone.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Kristie. Absolutely. And I want to give a shout out to Barb. Barb is with us and she's been delivering some awesome chat comments. I'm just going to take a quick look at this one. She says, yes, external validation is superfluous, not sustainable. The power lies in, I think she's saying, our own beliefs about ourselves. I determine my value and worth every morning. My value and worth is not determined by someone else. This way, when the external feedback comes forth, it does not change. I love this, Barb. It does not change what I've already decided about myself. External feedback does not lift my value, plus the worth, nor the opposite, shame, blame, or guilt me. Yeah, being solid and grounded comes from within, not externally. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Barb. Beautiful, beautiful.
I
Sometimes
want to
I
say
feel like a really
to Barb,
simple way that I've looked at life is to show up, pay attention, tell the truth, and then be open to the outcome. And I think that works.
Thank you. Ivana, what were you about to say?
yeah, I just saw the comment from Barb about the cat, so I just want to thank her. And I also would like to say that I agree with internaling things. I think that the most judgment, that we internalize from our parents, from, childhood, is still present within us. So I think I need the most to observe my thoughts and what I was speaking to myself, the judgments about myself. So this kind of energy, that always repeats in thoughts that I think everybody has, but needs to learn how to deal with. That is not automatic, right? But we are more conscious and observe these thoughts so that they do not control us. So I think that's the biggest when I think about the judgment and kind of raising above this, even though sometimes we can still get into these loops, but it was kind of the most challenging for me.
Thank you for sharing that, Ivana. And yes, we had lots of cat and I think dog love in the comments here. So that was fun to see showing up. We are nearing the end of today's conversation. So I want to give our panelists just a quick, start to collect your final thoughts. And we'll be right back after this video to wind down the show. Okay, so we are finalizing our thoughts on this subject of shining your light, and we're just going to maybe 15 seconds per person. I'm going to start with you, Charla. What are your final thoughts here?
Oh, gee. Don't be afraid of those little germs of ideas that come up inside you, even though they're not the usual or the conventional. They're yours, and you can nurture that and make it yours and be brave about it.
Thank you. Love that. Lou, 15 seconds. Final thoughts?
I'll just touch on the judgment. Work on, just from my perspective, work on moving into a state of non-attachment. Water down your expectations, especially in regard to other people, and just be an observer. Just observe.
Love that. Absolutely. Yes. Ivana, how about you? 15 seconds, final thoughts.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed the conversation today, and I think that we are all different, and shining our light means different for everybody. So I think if we could all respect these differences and also our own, that we are different from others and not compare that much, I think that's where we shine the most.
I love it. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. And Kristie, how about you?
Regularly check in with yourself to see where you are with your personal professional goals. Just regularly. Some people do it every 2 weeks, every once a month, every Sunday. Just find a consistent time where you can just check in and see if you need to make any adjustments based on new information that you happen to receive. And just be kind to yourself.
I love it. You all shared so many wonderful nuggets. Thank you for everything you shared. And to today's audience, whether you were with us live or on the replay, if you need to listen to this again, come back and listen to it again, hear some of these nuggets, then do that. Allow these messages from everyone today to sink in. You being comfortable and confident and aligned with who you are is a beautiful gift for yourself and for the world. I like to say that how do I say it? When your light shines, our world shines. And I think that's what it's all about. Have an amazing day, everybody. We'll see you all again very, very soon.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you for joining us today and welcome you back next Sunday as we once again are joined by a panel of subject matter experts that will explore and focus in on our fabulous lives. Until next Sunday.